Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Farm Thinking Right, out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I got something for you nice today. I'm gonna take a hit for this one, but you know how I do. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune to receive them. We got a good thing going. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where I'm going with this? So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. So a person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here too. Wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. Right thinkers, some of y'all ain't gonna like this one, but you know how I feel about this religious thing. So I asked the question after watching, I study and I listen to other people's concepts and viewpoints. I ain't the only one who feels a certain way about this religious thing. So right thing, let's talk about, is your biblical God really God? Excuse me. That's a good question, as my AI buddy would tell you. So let's talk about it. I keep trying to get my point across to you religious people. Religions is man made. Y'all made God human, not the real God. Why? Any God who got to profess he's God is not God. That's why. They say old phrases, those who know don't tell. Those who tell don't know. God know he's God. So he ain't got to keep telling everybody who he is. That's what nature's job. Let's go. And true followers and knowers of him, is our job to get you to know him. My job to get you to God experience for yourself. Nothing else. Not on my belief. No, know what I know, what I study, what I practice. That's a philosophical concept that you can manifest for yourself, not a belief system. Spiritual. Now, I keep telling you, this man-made God is just a higher ego consciousness of man, not God. Why? Again, I don't tell my children, I'm your father. Star Wars, Luke, I'm your father. He didn't tell me he's my father. You can look at him and see that. So some things you don't have to recite over and over as you try to make your point. A liar wants to keep making a point, subliminally to try to drive across a point that they make. This God that y'all following, this God that y'all believe in, may not be the real God. And the more I should tell you about that, they'll get mad at me. I don't follow your prescription, your concept. Why? I got ancient Egyptian concepts, so I'm comfortable with my philosophy and what I believe in, what I live at. Y'all got this belief system that y'all hell bent on, and we keep telling you, no, my man, it ain't what you think it is. It ain't that. So I get tired of making that argument. So I just make my point. Moving on. Again, man makes declaration, starting with God claimed that I am so and so. God don't have to say who he is. God is spirit, aka Amun, hidden. The Son shows you his only begotten Son to show you who he is. Representation. He didn't put himself there. It generates through God's, magnificent grace, whatever you want to call it, but that's the light. Now, human beings, we are spirit, beings in human form, having a human experience. The five senses would dictate on this level that we're on right here what goes on and how we do it. But the mind inside the body is another level, astral plane, or we call it heaven. Okay, next level up because it's all mental and internal. And the last phase is the casual. That's where you want to end up. That's where the souls go back to as they come. Okay, conceptually. But this man-made God that y'all Christians who've been around a little over 2,000 years could care less about anything you say about anything about God. Why? I know God. So whatever you say about him, if it don't match what I know, I can care less. If it matches, fine. Okay, you got some good points. I said I understand religion, but I don't practice it. Why? I know spirituality. Simple. Religion is man-made. Spiritual is God-given. That's the difference. And God is spirit. We are human flesh, spirit, and he gave us this thing up here called consciousness so that we can identify who we are in the flesh. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Well, why we come to earth? To learn a lesson so we know who we are so the spirit can go back once it comes. Okay? That's the concept. Yahweh. That's the traditional Jewish God title. And how about this? Yah and Weh means inhale and exhale. Yahweh in France, or somewhere else they call it, it means I am, or Jesus, whatever. But it's a whole bunch of acronyms, a whole bunch of symbolic concepts. And I understand symbology. I understand esoteric teachings. I understand mythological concepts. I don't subscribe to religious viewpoints. Simple. I am your God, Yahweh. And there is no other God. If he made that statement, he is lying. Why? Because there is other gods emanated from the one God. I know that. We all know that. Well, some of us do. Some of us believe something else. Now, you can believe what you want. But those who know since mean what? We know from experience, from practicing, from manifesting. So you can't deter somebody who knows something to convince them to believe in something. Superstition, like Stevie tell you, ain't the way. I had my conversation with God and my understanding over 10 years now. And haven't nothing changed. I've been on the same page, same process, progress, teaching others how to know God for themselves. Why? Because I had my understanding. I got one. A philosophical concept I just teach. That's it. No more, no less. I ain't trying to convince you of God. He do that on his own. I said, God, what makes everything you do, the miracle that you show people who you are, I've been doing it since you come, and we still do other things. Don't worry about that. You keep bringing them to me. So my job is to get you to go to God on your own terms and you'll have your own experience. So you and him can have your own one-on-one. He's personal. And I am your God. Okay, yeah. I had my conversation again. And from this point on, he's here. I know he was here, but now I know he's here. I don't believe, I know. So I do what I do to prove that on a day-to-day basis. Watch this. He wasn't in the flesh. And the voice wasn't James Earl Jones, wasn't Morgan Freeman. No, mine was Vince Lombardi. Why? Because psychologically, the respect that I have for Vince Lombardi, for the kind of man that he was, puts him in high esteem. So when God's voice came that way, he got my attention. I keep trying to explain it to you. You can tell people that. I'm just going to tell you the truth. I can't tell you nothing else. So I'm telling you my experience about what I consider a conversation with God. The voice was Vince Lombardi. And I try to break it down. Well, why Vince Lombardi? I don't care about that. Okay. And I'm not racist. I ain't got nothing to do with that, what color he was. It was the principle that he set forth that I followed and I loved about him. Understand that? So that voice got my attention. And from that point on, I had my own experience with God. You can't tell me about God. You can't. No. We can share in the blessings of God. Yeah, we can do all that. I ain't got a problem with that. That's why I go to church and fellowship with like-minded people. But their philosophy, I don't follow. I have mine that got me to God. What there's work to get them. I don't not none of them. My Muslims, my brother-in-law, my Jewish buddy, all of y'all have your own right, and I respect everybody, and we all get along fine. So it ain't about what you color your religious practice. Treating people right in spirituality goes across the board. It's universal. I don't need a God who is ego tripping. My God blesses me when? Daily. And he made their claims, I'm this, I'm that. He ain't none of that nonsense, okay? But whenever I'm in need, it done got to be now. I don't even, it don't excite me no more to be blessed. Why? It's natural, it's normal. I'm doing the right things to make that possible. And if you have a belief system that puts you in that frame of mind, by all means, use it. Why? That's what it's for. That's the intent. I know that. Moving on. God will, where we at? No. Okay, I didn't need that. Okay, yeah. Okay. God will provide, excuse me, God will prove himself to who and who he is by what? Blessing those who what? Serve him. Okay. Not according, or excuse me, he'll bless you when you do right. But guess what? He gonna punish you accordingly also daily. Your life is hell if you keep doing the wrong thing. You can't get out of that rut by doing the same thing. You gotta change. Stop. Go the other way. Your life only gonna change if your heart and mind makes the change on the same accord. Our ancient ancestors and their concept of God and goddesses was lived. They wrote it down, they left it, stuff information for us to follow. I practice it myself. So now I what? I teach it. I worship a faceless, a formless, and a just and spirit consciousness we call God. That's all knowing, absolute, however you want to define it. But that's who I serve. I'm comfortable with that. My father physically passed on. So now I hold conversation with him from a spiritual aspect. He ain't speaking back. Moving on. I know God and is his spirit. That's in me, not outside of me. That's why I don't do religion. I keep trying to explain to you. I don't have a problem with religion. I just don't practice it. Why? If you tell me God talked to Moses from a burning bush, you tell me that God took Enoch up to heaven without dying, you tell me that he called Jesus out and brought him up to heaven, body and all, I don't have to subscribe to none of that. That's why. And that's all religious. Y'all should tell them the allegorical story. It can be real. Moving on. That's my point. Nature is God's calling card. We can learn about God through what? Study of nature. Hello? That's what your aspect of character comes from. And I practice the Mayat aspect philosophy of God's presence, what? Duality choices. Meaning when God came out of the known, the first thing he did was make sure what? He needed order. Duality. Equal opposites. Hey, here comes Maya. That's why I show her the respect that I show. Why? That's part of her godliness or goddesshood. Why? Following the concept that she set forth. Not a real person. She's an aspect of your character that you can practice and worship. You get the concept? Not a fabricated person. Oh, Maya's God. No, just an aspect of God. I'll tell you, he came out, stood on Maya. That's the pedestal and the principle of the scale. That's why I do the balance. That's what duality represents. These are all just aspects of your personality that you can worship and you can manifest for yourself. I worship a female aspect of God every day. I live by her concept. I know God, the ultimate all God, but I know the aspects of God. That's what's in me also. My personality is based on the things that I learn and I practice based on what God deems good or in his sight. Okay. We had one name for God. Amun. But it's a trinity concept. Amun, it means hidden one. It don't mean so mobile at the prayer. No, it means the hidden one. Where's he hidden? First, in us. Second, he's seen. After hidden, he's going to be seen. Ra, Ra, the fire, the light. Let there be. He brought into existence his only begotten son. Tuh, spelled P-T-A-H, spelled P-A-T-P-T-H-A, but it says the T is solid. Tuh. We put the P there, okay? Tuh. But he uttered himself into existence. Again, words of power, heka. We think it, we feel it, and then we expand on it, and we make it possible. We can practice that. That's a way of life. Okay, moving on. Now, the Trinity of God, again breaks down. God is everything that exists. He created everything plus us, including the fact that it was perfect. So he got inside his creation, which is us, Het Haru. God lives in his creation. We are Haru. He's the head, the house. The physical body is us. He's what resides inside us. Hope you get the concept. Moving on. The Trinity of God. Again, Amun, hidden, Ra, seen, Ta, self-created in the physical form. I am the equal or spirit is us. We have the ego in us. Why? Before we get enlightened, we have edged God out. We don't know God. The ego don't know God. That's why you have to enlighten it. That's why your higher conscious have to come in. Animals don't know God. They could care less. They don't know who supplied for them. That's why they can't worship and praise him. But they know somebody's providing for them. So that ain't a problem for them. They ain't got to worry about it. A dog doesn't even know how to be a dog. Animals don't have to come with a book. Humans do. Why? We had this thing in our head called consciousness that had to be guided, directed, and put into use in a proper form to get the best performance out of it. The chakras is the internal parts that make the body go. Whole bunch of stuff going on, but right now let's talk about this manifested biblical God that y'all so in love with. The book was given to you by our oppressors. The book tells you worship and obey your master, not your godly master, your physical earthly master, who is your oppressor. Moving on. If your God don't look like you, you got the wrong God. And they gave y'all a God that don't look like us. That God that y'all practice, he don't. But y'all say the man, nobody knows his ethnicity. I understand why he never existed. So he's saying he was this, they saying with that. No, he never existed. Moving on. Let me wrap this up again. I don't want to go there, but that's the truth. Simple as that. Now, God knows he's God, and all others are emanations from himself, aka all is one, and one is the all. Everything comes from the one, on the one. Wrapping it up. Your biblical God, I keep telling you, don't get upset with me. Do some of your own homework, okay? Your biblical God say, I am God. No, God is, I am the all. So he don't make the statements. He proved the statement. So if you tell me he said that, moving on. I just don't subscribe to your theologies. For your Bible lovers, for you Bible lovers, the Jews don't give two hoops about Jesus, and they doing just fine, getting blessed from God and living their traditional ways. Everybody has a connection to God. You ain't got the only way. Understand that, first of all. And you Bible lovers, your God is a what? A perpetrating God, an enslaver. They say this God keeps you hellbound by here with the what? Fear and ignorance of thyself. I got to agree with that concept. I ain't arguing. I'm saying, yeah, it do kind of make sense because y'all really ain't doing nothing of status except I'm Christian. I'm Christian. I believe in God. Jesus Christ can do this. Moving on. If God is in the flesh, that's us. Just not one person. Y'all claim Jesus is God. How could you make that distinction and we are the same? I'm just saying, if he was existed, he had to be one of us. So we are the same thing you claim he is. Moving on. Bible thumpers. If you only believe in what that book says, you are ignorant of a whole lot of things that you're missing out on. Somebody else has got theology. Other people got coaches. Other coaches got their philosophies too. Check them out. It don't hurt. It ain't blasphemous to question what somebody told you. But they want you to believe it, then you can't question it. You just go with it. That makes you ignorant. And always, when you say you believe, that's telling me you don't know. So anything after I believe, wah, 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 when you speaking to me from belief. Understand that. I go to church weekly, going today, to get biblical knowledge from a God-fearing man who I trust and respect. Why? How he practiced his philosophy and how he lived it. I got nothing but respect for that. Again, it ain't mine, it's his. He wouldn't got them, and I'll follow. Again, I go to church to get the lessons from him. Moving on. He don't have to be a right thinker. He ain't got to take it to my channel. What he do is what he do. I respect him for that. He respect what I do. So we good with that. So it ain't a competition. We serving God on our terms. Again, I respect my Christians for being what? Good Christian people. Spiritually enlightened people from an aspect of the Bible, which I have no problem with. I just don't subscribe. And they are good people. Again, I keep telling you about, if I didn't have them to substantiate my idea of good Christian, I'd be ripping y'all a new one. I tell them all the time, y'all keep me respecting this thing y'all call Christianity. Why? I have none for the people I see practicing and professing it. Half of them, I'm a Christian. You pay tithes? No. No church? No. But I'm a Christian. So I don't understand what that is. If you ain't bettering yourself, you're not a right thinker. If you ain't living right, you're not a right thinker. So don't profess to be something you're not. Don't make me look bad. I'm doing my on my own, doing the best I could, showing you what it looked like. So if you ain't doing it that way, don't do it at all. And again, right thinkers, your biblical God may not be who you think he is. You might want to check that out. And in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and be 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers or my biblical church family has passed away. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be back.